Coleen Rooney has told how she felt hurt and ashamed when she learned that her husband Wayne had used prostitutes at a Liverpool massage parlor. Speaking for the first time about the incident, which took place in 2002 when the former England captain was 16. She also described it as a horrible dream and admitted she was unable to decide whether her relationship had a future. Mrs. Rooney also told how they had screaming matches over his infidelity at the brothel in Liverpool, where he had sex with a 37-year-old named Gina McCarrick and her 48-year-old grandmother. Writing candidly in her autobiography, My Account, Mrs. Rooney, 37, recalled the moment he confessed to her. She said the full story was that when he was 16, Wayne had visited prostitutes in a Liverpool massage parlor. When Wayne sat me down and told me it was true and that the story was about to break in the national press, I was confused and hurt. I couldn't even speak to him. More than that, I felt ashamed. Ms. Rooney, 37, still a teenager then, told how she agonized over what others would think of Wayne's demeanor. Everyone knew, and everyone seemed to have an opinion. I sat with it all swirling around me like some horrible dream, unable to decide what was best or what I wanted. A voice inside me told me not to do anything rash and not to make a decision in the midst of my anger. Dealing with that kind of thing was heartbreaking enough, but I was 18 years old. I was upset and confused, not knowing what to think or how others might react. I wasn't sure what I felt about Wayne anymore. Also, I knew my family's instinct would be to protect me, and whatever way you spun it, this was not a good look. Mrs. Rooney, who now has 4 sons with Wayne, decided to hold a summit with him and hear his side of the story. She reveals how they had a secret meeting at her auntie's home in Liverpool where he admitted that the details were true, though insisted that some of the revelations were fabricated. The couple also went on a trip to Blackpool Pleasure Beach where they tried to live some normality, wearing hats and putting their collars up so they were not recognized as they discussed their future. After some weeks, Mrs. Rooney decided to accept Wayne's apology. She said he knew how bad this was, how wrong. He looked down at the floor as he told me how devastated he felt having put me in that situation. I was still fuming, of course, and there were definitely a few screaming matches in the days to come. In the end, though, I accepted that this had happened a long time ago and that we were stronger now, more committed. We weren't the kids we were back then. Wayne was no longer the cocky lad trying to impress his mates. If I'd found out he was having an affair or he'd told me in love with someone else, I couldn't have gotten over it. But that wasn't the case. Mrs. Rooney also admits that her 38-year-old husband's behavior tested her for years to come, often when he has been drinking alcohol. She says that booze has a lot to answer for, and confessed that when Wayne is troubled he will go out and get drunk and make things worse. I couldn't have known it then, but I'd be tested like this again in the future more than once. I say the same thing now as I did back then. If you're dealing with something stupid done in the heat of the moment involving alcohol, it might be fixable. If love, emotions, and ongoing deception are involved, then it's a different story. Alcohol has a lot to answer for. As far as Wayne is concerned, it's often been his downfall. Often, when something is bothering Wayne, he bottles it up. Instead of coming out with the thing that is bothering him, relieving himself of the burden, he pushes it down. Then, sometimes, he'll go off on one, behaving in a way that makes everything worse. Mrs. Rooney also admitted that Wayne, now manager of Birmingham City Football Club, at times hasn't been able to control his drinking. She reveals how he has binges. The couple, who have 4 children, Kai, 14, Clay, 10, Kit, 7, and Cass, 5, got together when they were teenagers after Wayne repeatedly asked the now wag out. Eventually she agreed and they went to see an Austin Powers movie and ate a McDonald's afterward.